Kabbalah Sulam writes in the article Peace in the World, we have in us a great battle of the psychological predispositions, meaning the attributes themselves within each and every one of us individually, which are unique and contradictory to each other. For the four above attributes, mercy, truth, justice, and peace, which were divided in the nature of people, whether by development or by rearing, are, in and of themselves, contradictory to one another. What are the four fundamental forces of nature that operate inside each one of us and contradict one another, disallowing us to achieve peace? How can we achieve inner peace then, and eventually peace with our surroundings, and perhaps even peace in the world? Just like physicists of our world who gave names to the forces that they saw were acting on matter in certain very specific and lawful ways, they identified the four fundamental forces of physics as gravity, the strong force, the weak force, and electromagnetism. So Kabbalists identified the four forces that operate in people, in individuals, and in society as a collective, and they identified them as truth, mercy, justice, and peace. These are the names that they gave these forces. And these forces contradict each other, warring within us, disallowing us to ever reach a feeling of true, prolonged peace. The quality of truth is what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours. And the people who are the most in favor of this force are usually those who have it good right now, who have it the best, and who have the most abundant lives in society.
Who are the people who are most likely to succeed? What's the secret of their success?
The second attribute is the attribute of mercy, which is whatever is mine is yours, and whatever is yours is also yours. This is the more benevolent, sharing kind of attitude. The next force is called justice, and this is where we try to compensate for the fact that we can't really go according to what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours, because that's not fair. We each got in our basket from nature different qualities, and we should even it out.
How do I get high grades? I work for them. I'm not going to school just to put in time. I want to be somebody.
How do I find time for so many activities? I plan for them. I like to make the most of my spare time.
What are you doing after graduation?
I'll think about that later.
And last but not least, we have the quality of peace, which comes to make peace between all of the different desires, which are what stand behind human beings at the end of the day. We're all just desires. And because all of these desires, meaning all of the people in the world, were given different qualities, each one a different, unique, special point that is their true self of selves. So this quality comes to make peace among them. Sometimes it's the kind of peace whereby we really want to just share everything. Let's share everything so that there will be peace and everyone will be happy. And sometimes it's more the destructive type of peace, whose real intention is actually to quiet everything down so that the elite, the rich in society, can live a life of abundance, and that the masses who are making all kinds of problems and revolutions will quiet down. Now, if you learn the algorithm by which each of these four forces operate, which I laid out in previous videos, you'll start to feel and understand that you yourself clothe inside each of these qualities at different times, meaning in different states that you're in, you identify with one of these properties as your main property. Sometimes you identify with the attribute of truth, which is what is mine is mine, what is yours is yours. This is your attitude towards your surroundings. Sometimes you're more merciful. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is yours. I can share. Sometimes with the attribute of justice, sometimes with those two kinds of peacemakers that I described, constructors and destructors, and all of these forces contradict each other. And usually we're not even aware of the fact that a new force has clothed our internal point, and that we're now operating according to it, according to some kind of puppeteer that is operating me and making me feel a certain way and have a certain attitude towards my surroundings. And being operated in this way unconsciously, we will never be at peace the same way that humanity will never be at peace. No matter whether they do a communist government, socialist government, democratic government, or any other kind of government that we can come up with, there will never be peace. We will only cycle through this algorithm of four forces again and again. We need to realize what is happening to us, and that the goal of going through this cycle again and again was for us to finally realize that we're on this endless wheel, and to step back from it and realize that actually the world was created unfair on purpose. Why? So that we could understand that we're not supposed to try to create equality or some competitive environment where some have it all and the others have nothing. Rather, we're supposed to see that we were all given totally different pieces of the same puzzle that we need to build together, and that each part is equally important. Which part of a human body is the most important? You can't say. Every part of this body serves a specific role, and each one is important to the whole. And all of us are unconsciously and very painfully contributing to this whole, to this one singular system to which we belong. And we're all suffering, and we're all in a lack of peace. Because even the wealthiest and most elite of society, they also suffer, because there's this lingering feeling that really the world is not secure, it's not safe, and we're not heading towards a good future because of the unrest that inevitably ensues as a result of these four forces, which we don't identify as four forces, but we can feel that there's a lack of peace and no one knows what to do. We're all operating according to our desire to receive, meaning a calculation of receiving maximum benefit while giving the minimum possible effort. And this matrix is what stands behind all of the calculations that drive forth the historical process that we discussed in this course. But all of us are making a very bad calculation, because if we will add up on a scale on one side all of the pleasures that we receive after all of our calculations and all of our efforts, and we'll put all of the pleasures on one side of the scale, we'll see that on the other side of the scale, if we put all of our pain and suffering and worry and concern that we have to do in order to secure peace and secure our livelihood, we would find that the pains far outweigh the pleasures. If we could undergo, and we can, an internal psychological shift, seemingly simple, seemingly subtle, but also what happens in a nuclear reactor is also very subtle, but it's a fundamental, subtle shift by which our entire reality can change.
We're lost in a beautiful energy, an energy of light, an energy of love. It's the energy that's in every living entity.
And this change occurs by us shifting from a personal calculation to a global calculation. Meaning, if I'll work and do everything I'm doing in life, but instead of thinking about myself, I'll think about this global body to which I belong, I will start to actually feel that I belong to it. I will start to awaken the sensation, an actual sensation, the way I feel my arms and my legs, and I feel warm inside because I feel my organs there. I can start to feel the whole world this way. Most importantly, we can start to feel true inner peace, because what is peace? It's where parts that we thought were disparate and not fitting together, not in harmony, like different instruments in a symphony that were as if in some practice and finally come together playing a beautiful, well-rehearsed song. we discover that in humanity you have all of these disparate parts, different people, governments, things that don't fit together, that don't make sense, that don't seem to be heading towards any purpose. And we discover that all of it is one big symphony heading towards a beautiful, sublime goal. This internal shift, by which you can already start to gradually come to inner peace, can create peace in the world as well, because the wisdom of Kabbalah is available to all. And through it, each and every person can come both to the sensation of true peace, but also to the actions that such a beautiful sensation will yield in the reality around us.